Hello, my name is Francis Fox, and again, I'm a trained remote viewer specializing in interspecies communication. All my psychic skills have been developed and examined and surveyed, etc., throughout decades. And I myself follow what it is that I say, I follow up to ensure that I'm accurate. And if it appears that I'm not accurate in something, then I need to find out what went wrong, which generally will be not the psychic information, but when I start to speak to interpret it, which makes sense. I just want to let you know that I'm not irresponsible with how it is that I use my skills. I think it's very important that there be an augmented respect for human abilities, which all humans have. Children are born very much with their third eye open. And as the weeks and the months and the years go by, the school system and the parents and everybody requires that the child close their third eye, disconnect from their psychic abilities. None of the parents like it when a young child sees a spirit and says that's the reason they can't sleep. The parent says they're just making that up. They just don't want to go to sleep. Well, at night is when the spirits become active. It's when you're less defended and you don't have as much consciousness in your physical vehicle, your physical body. And so it makes sense that the children would see at night and they come out of the closet. That's where they hide, behind doors, underneath beds, where it's dark, where there's no movement. We haven't respected it as we should have. And we have turned over uh, our need for information to make choices to professionals who, in their field, are not allowed to use psychic abilities. One of the reasons why the medical doctors out of this country are so much better at diagnosing is because they were allowed to use their intuition. In this country, it's not allowed. You will lose your license. So basically, we have to get back to allowing a flow of something that God gave us that we all have, and then learning how to use it properly, and then always going to somebody who's better at it than we are. You know how to write, but if you want to write an incredible resume and you write it, you might want to have somebody proof it and check it. So you have the ability, but you have somebody check it. We're all psychic, but there will be many times when you need to go to a specialist. Now, saying that, let me say that yesterday I did something on camera. I read Adam Schiff, his energy. Now, I don't generally do that. I could be on television 10 times a day in English and Spanish doing mind maps of everybody's that's on TV now. I was asked dozens of times when I spent a lot of time on in Spanish television stations years ago, and they would say, "We want to invite you on. We want you to tell us about so and so." And I said, "Is he going to be there to ask me the questions?" No, then I'm not going to do it. I don't do it because that's like gossip. Even if it's accurate, it's gossip. Why did I go out of my comfort zone and do Adam Schiff? He wants me dead. He's dangerous to this entire country. He's been very invasive. I don't even need to say that statement. So, because when the chat yesterday ended, I was thinking about it. Should I have done that? You know what? I should have done that because I think I got a piece of information that's going to help close the circle having to do with what is needed to be known about mind control. When I started my process, I did not suspect how much this entire country was going to have mind control as an issue. I did not suspect it. And the more that I get into everything that I've been to now, the more I go, my God, what I said 30 and 40 years ago ended up being true, but I didn't really believe it. And I've told the story before. I was with a friend and she was, patting me on the shoulder because I was crying about all these memories I was having and, this not knowing if I was in danger, not in danger, whatever. And I said, you're not even sure you believe me. You're just being compassionate because you're my friend. I said, but in the future, all of your children are going to go through this. And that's exactly what's happened. So I did Adam Schiff. So let me go back to that because I told you that I would find out about. Okay, so here's Adam Schiff. These are his mind strings. We have 72,000. Let me show you the sketch. There. See those green strings that are extended? Those are channels. They have 5 fingers at the end, which are for the 5 elements. They extend from the center axis, which is the causal body, which we have already established is the Holy Grail. The causal body is the gold double terminated funnel that you're seeing behind those circles, which are the chakras. So what I sketched here are the mind strings. We have, all of us have 72,000. So his are drooping, massive depression. Makes sense. But I was looking to see if he does the same thing that my handler did to me, because he and my handler were competing for me as their gas pump, that they could come in and pump up, fill themselves with energy from me, my body, and then continue on and then come back, whatever. And I wanted to know if Adam Schiff was doing the same thing. Well, this is Adam Schiff. This is him. He's got Nancy. This is Nancy Pelosi. I'm not breaking any confidences in the sense I wasn't looking at her and I didn't put anything further. He has her by the throat. Makes sense. But his mind streams are penetrating these 3 people here that are members of Congress. So he's doing to them what my handler has done to me for 20 years and what he had also done to me. Oh, I need to cut those strings. Thank you. So these are 3 members of Congress that don't even know this. They don't know that Adam Schiff did this to them. And this is mind control, because those 72,000 strings are the conduit that the human mind runs through. These are the strings that when you read my book, Sex, we have to figure this out. It informs you that when you have sex with somebody, your strings interpenetrate the person you're having sex with, and their mind strings interpenetrate you, and they can stay hooked to you for 12 years. And that is with nobody even thinking. This was a setup. This was on Adam Schiff's part. He set this up, and it was helped through magic in food. These people were invited. They went to a meal, whatever. He put something in the food. So that I haven't looked into. I just did this last night. But I did look up the niacinamide, because I got that, and that's a vitamin, it's B3. And vitamin B3 helps you with calcium, but vitamin B3, darn, where do I have the notes? Vitamin B3 is very good for the mind. It's like ashwagandha, which is the number 1 herb from India for the mind. Niacinamide is good for the mind. It's good for mind control. I put up niacinamide mind control. And so it's also good for the skin. I have something weird with my skin, but it's not a look. It's not a thing on my skin. It's a feeling. And I have lately, when all these bigger issues go away, I'm going to look and find out, what is my problem? I'm like, what's that fairy tale where they put a little pea and then they put a mattress and then another one, and they wanted to establish that this woman was a princess, which is not the point here. And she could feel it when they had put 12 mattresses, and she could still feel it, and the regular people couldn't. That's kind of my case. It has nothing to do with being a princess or being anything special. It has to do with an oversensitivity, and I'm wondering if that's connected with any of this. And it's not a sensitivity in one particular part of my body. It's something that I don't think is normal, and I don't think most people have it, and I believe it's connected to it may not be, but I'm just giving you information as I'm getting it. So, niacinamide is for the mind. So, I think that niacin, and I'm going to ask the dolphins whether we should all be taking niacinamide. We should absolutely all be taking ashwagandha, which is an Indian herb, and we should all take cannabis, which the CIA says it's very good to protect from mind control. So it's also really good for sex. Hello? So let's go over the map, which is kind of interesting. Now, we had yesterday the ETs are smiling gently on Trump and the United States. I don't know what that means, but it's nice. But that gently, it's kind of like you don't want to upset anybody or they're in a delicate place. I do think that Trump is in a delicate place having to do with the treachery, the hypocrites, the treachery. It's not just people wanting to kill him. Okay, get in that position. People that are supposed to be part of the team and they end up not being part of the team. And I think for somebody like Trump, who is angelic essence, that's a big blow emotionally. So anyway, here's the map. There's this gold star here, which is a pyramid that's coming up. This is the Gulf of America, no longer the Gulf of Mexico. There've always been pyramids. There have been pyramids here for several months that have been coming up that create tremendous stability. This is really good. This says this is going to bring up to the surface revelations about how life started on this planet. That's big because you got the whole ET thing. How did life start on the planet? Oh, we didn't start here. No, we didn't. Kind of interesting. And then the next statement that I got is this will simplify issues. Okay, because maybe the guys that are coming in from other planets now are the guys that are from the places that we're originally from. I actually know two people that I met about 10 years ago, and I remember saying to them, we're from the same hometown in the same planet. We're from the same planet, us three, and from the same hometown, not just the same planet. Anyway, so there's interesting. All this is spiraling and it's green. It's spiraling is creativity, energy, it's life. I don't know what this is around Chicago. I think I'm not looking into it. At the top, it says bad ETs are getting nervous. That means that we're winning. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, and I am not saying that I believe this. Got it? So don't quote me. But planet Earth is supposed to be incredibly important for the galaxy. And the first 50 times I heard that, I went, yeah, sure, that was written by somebody from planet Earth that wants us to be important. But I kept reading it and it kept coming up in different places. And and I'm not saying this is true, but I'm saying I've read it enough in enough places where people are reasonable that I think maybe we should say that it's possibly true. Apparently, we're headed towards a really important shift. We've done a lot of shifts, ascension process, not that one, something off planet, galactic. And planet Earth is the path that planet Earth takes is going to determine the path of many other planets. Oh, yeah, we're so important. I'm giving you information. I'm not telling you to believe it. Start looking it up, supposedly. But if that's the case, then the bad ETs getting nervous makes sense. And the protection that the United States and Trump is getting because of Trump aligning the most important country on the planet with this new era, rather than hanging on to the old stuff, aligning with peace instead of war, which is not easy because he has the entire war machine that would want him down, gone, out. And then I have the word evangelist. Evangelist is a person who brings good news. Why that was given to me to put here, I don't know, but it was. So all of this we shall see. We shall see. Oh, the efficiency of niacin and niacinate is that it can help eliminate brain fog. I found my notes. Niacinate is B3 and it's for anxiety and movement disorders. Darn, why didn't I find my notes 3 minutes ago? Makes me look bad. That's okay. Okay, listen. Movement disorders. Your physical vehicle, okay, I'm going to put this back up again. And one day you'll understand how important this is. All the way on the left, that's your physical body, which is your physical vehicle. Your physical vehicle cannot move on its own. It has to have your spirit inside. You have to decide to move your arm. If you don't decide to move your arm and your arm moves, that's another spirit, not the one that's yours, it's inside your physical body, that moved it. If your eye twitches, you have a teeny weeny spirit there. If you have restless leg syndromes, you have big spirits attached to your legs. If you don't make the decision to move, but your body moves, that is a spirit. Parkinson's, the movement in the neck, that's a spirit in the throat chakra. It's really simple. So what does it say? Niacin B3. There's a niacin and a niacinate, and I didn't take the time to figure out and to keep clear in my head the difference. Movement disorders, which means spirits. It can't mean any other thing. And you can go, well, yeah, but you're just saying that. Yeah, I am. But I'm not just saying it after 50 years of research. That's 50 years of observation research and looking at what has been written until now in human history, having to do with our assemblage of bodies, not having to do with Mars and astrology. No, the human assemblage of bodies. That's the whole thing. Your body, if you don't decide to move it and it moves, you've got a spirit. So anything that helps with movement disorders is basically helping with spirits. Niacinate. And then at the top, mind control. So does it make you easier to control you? No. It's good for body movement, for movement disorders. So I've got to look more into that. Actually, I need for somebody to tell me, somebody who's an authority figure, to tell me when it is that I can remote view these injections. I did not take them. I need to see, and they don't. The person doesn't have to inject themselves. They can just tell me kind of when they got the injection, and I can go back in time through remote viewing and see what happens when that goes in. I'm having a little. I'm having a little bit of an issue in doing that and having it not end up being a problem for me, because what I'm going to come up with is going to be accurate. And maybe some of you are not aware because maybe you didn't hear the story. I'll say it again. Okay. Somebody had cancer and they were going to get an injection for the cancer. And I was like, this was many years ago. And they went, what can you inject for cancer? And so I said, what time is the appointment? And the person said to me, "You can't go with me to the appointment." I said, "I'm not going to go with you to the appointment. But if you give me permission, tell me kind of what time the appointment is. I'll tune in." I really didn't need the time, but it made it easier to tune in. I'll tune in and see what happens when they inject. It actually wasn't the person, it was the person's father. And he said, "Well, the appointment's Thursday at 2. Apparently, the whole family knew everything having to do with scheduling because of the cancer." So I said, "Okay." What happened is what they injected the person with, because was never told what he was injected with. It was for his cancer. What I saw when they injected him was there was like this stick, and it was hitting the guy's adrenals, hitting them, hitting them, hitting them. I thought, this is like really weird, but this is what I get. And the person was, "Well, I don't know." So I have a friend of mine who's a doctor, and I said, "Listen, this person has cancer. It's a man." Yeah. And I looked, and it was hitting his adrenals. She said, "Oh, he probably got prostate cancer or something like that. Don't worry about it." Um, I said, "But why would an injection hit the adrenals?" She said, "Because they have to reduce the testosterone." So modern medicine, such a lovely thing, modern medicine. They beat up on your adrenals to reduce the testosterone so the cancer doesn't have a certain food. Anyway, that's how specific it can be, what it is that I see. So whenever I know that it's not going to be dangerous for me to say what I see, please somebody let me know so that I can read it, because I want to know what it is that's happening. Now, I see that the people that died with this whatever, they're pulling stuff out of them, this long and stringy. What do we talked about? Strings? If those are the strings that I am sketching, if those are part of the 72,000 strings that we all have, but that they're finding inside our blood vessels, I don't think those are our strings. Are those the strings channel the mind? So if those strings, they're not ours, are coming from someone else, it's mind control. So I need to know when it is that I can safely remote view uh, what it is that was injected into people. I did not get injected. It didn't, it just didn't. Here's the instinctive knowing that all of you need to develop. We all have it. God gave it to us. Don't let modern science knock it down, because not modern science is, that's the group that's taking us down. Instinctively, when they talked about this, I remember I lived on Grove Island. I was like, why don't I feel this energy of a plague? And I would check things, and I lived on an island. There's a couple thousand people, and I asked around how many people got sick. Well, two people. Okay. Uh, well, one was in her 80s, the other one was in a wheelchair. Old people. I don't think even either one of them died. I said, it just doesn't feel right to me. Those feelings are psychic abilities. It's called being clairsentient, which means it's attached to your solar plexus, your digestive chakra, and you feel stuff that's not there, but you can feel it. And a lot of you feel that, and a lot of kids feel that. That's why they have continuous stomach aches. So I think that's all the news that's fit to print right now. I had a zillion things I wanted to say today, but I guess I didn't take enough notes. So let's go ahead and do a mantra. It is, after all, Friday. We should have a good weekend. I am not going to be, I have asked, still can't get out. What I have been told that a lot of people in Congress are looking at my chats, and they were particularly interested in the one yesterday with Adam Schiff. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be saying, am I mind controlled? And that is not a bad question to ask, because under my origins being revealed is going to help finish pulling together the information that we need to be able to deal with ETs, because it's very different. If we're not from here and then we have others not from here, that it's a little bit different than we're from here and they're from there. It's different. It's a different feeling. So hopefully this will come out quickly. Okay, let's go ahead and do a mantra. Let's do the exhaustion mantra. Okay. Your left eye moves. The left eye, okay, is associated with the left eye of Horus, Horus, but the main thing to know is that it's associated with your spirit. So when your left eye is moving, it's because your spirit is really very stressed. And when your right eye limps, it has to do with the physical dimension and not having enough money, not being able to pay the rent, not knowing where you're going to live, or somebody's going to come in and take you off to jail, or you're going to lose your house. Things on the physical, very physical. Emotional, it's the left eye. Knowing that, and I think I'm better today, but this week I have had, see, those wrinkles, those are wrinkles having to do with the stress on the physical dimension, the whole thing. I can't go out, it's dangerous, whatever. Usually it's my left eye. You could see one of them there. But those are wrinkles that go away. It's not like you get the wrinkle and then it stays. They come and they go depending upon my level of stress. But again, it's a movement. It's something that changed that I didn't try to change. Okay, let's go ahead and do the mantra then. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Hold on. So I can make as little spelling mistakes as possible. I figured it out. I figured out what needs to happen in the United States, but then the planet, for people to reduce the fire so that people won't be so violent, so that they won't be violent. We're in the age of Aquarius. This is when love is supposed to be, and love da 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 da, and then we're having the opposite. Obviously, something happened, something interfered. I got it figured out, and guess who I need to get it to work? Elon Musk, because it's in the air. I'm very happy about that. Here's the mantra, and let's get some music. This is sensory therapy, which is another thing I invented. Which is part of the thing that I need to do at a national, international level to be able to help the people. It's interesting because let's let that go. Whenever I'm able to tell you more, I will. But let me say that I'm very happy about this. Okay, so this is, okay, here. Okay. You feel better? Okay. Leah asked, says her whole body jumps at night. That's spirit invasion. So Leah, I left you a link there that you might be interested in. But if I'll try to get a couple of people that will allow me to sketch them on camera. You don't need to know their names, but just to see the interesting things that we do have. And I have some news. I'm going to be. I am not optimistic that I'm starting a search for where I'm going to live next. Actually, the place that I'm looking is in Central Florida. I want to get a hobby farm. I want a farm as if I wanted to have horses and could keep horses, even though I probably won't. But it has to be a natural setting. And Central Florida is very nice. It's a portal. If your life is in a good place and you're in that portal, you're fine. If your life is not in a good place, not. Lihia, do you want me to sketch you on camera? You need to say yes, or I won't do it. Um, so I'm kind of excited. I'm not sure that my time here in Miami is not kind of up. So we'll see. And I will keep you posted about that. So, Lihia, do you want me to sketch you on camera? I'll be glad to do it. It'll be very educational for everybody. I think not. Okay. Thank you then. And we will see you next week. And I'll try to get a couple of people to where I can sketch you on camera. Again, on Monday, I do the free event. It's in Spanish, but I do a purification. Um, but I'm going to try to set them up in English so that you won't feel totally lost, okay? Lihia says yes, I can sketch her, so we're going to do it. I'm glad that you said yes, Lihia. And so here we go. We have a candidate. Somebody, I don't know Lihia. No, I'm just going to, well, maybe. Mari RN? Okay. Okay, this is Lihia, who says her body shakes at night. So let's do this. Okay. Okay. Lihia has a lot of black magic. And let's get this off of here. So somebody buried the bottom half of her body. You know, like they put those concrete boots on the mafia people and then they throw them in the water. That, but this is done other dimensionally. Um, she also has black magic on all her chakras. Most of the black magic, if not all of it, comes with spirits attached. What the magician does is they give instructions to the spirit, and the spirit is the one that stays and ensures that that magic stays. I still find it hard to believe that black magic can last hundreds of years. I know because I met somebody whose family owned a castle uh, in Europe. They owned it for like 800 years in the family, and they had curses that were placed hundreds of years ago, and the spirits were still from those curses hundreds of years ago. That's why the whole thing, there is no time or measurements in the other dimensions. So it kind of makes sense, but it's kind of hard to accept. So Lihia, you need to get this cleared. We don't even need to look any further to know why it is that your body moves at bed at night. Those spirits, they kind of hang out, take naps, twiddle their thumbs, play poker during the day, and then when you relax, then they come in and they start to bother. Okay? So that's it. We don't need to do any further than that. And that's it. Mari RNR. I'll do Mari NR. And here we go. Mari, you have somebody who's very angry at you. This is a vector. When you pay attention to somebody, a vector shoots out from you. You don't have to think about it. It just happens. But this person is very frustrated. So they are filling you with frustration, with rage, with um, um, the fire element. So you would be like really uncomfortable. The reason this is what you call evil eye, but in this case, this person is not trying to do anything the matter with this person. Normally, we would have an aura around us that would protect us, and this somebody paying attention to us would not be able to penetrate. But because of all the frequencies that are damaging to us, this aura has been burnt out. So this is no longer just, let's say, a helicopter mom or a helicopter husband or a sister that pays a lot of attention, and but they're frustrated in their own lives, and then they're paying attention to the sister they love, and then they do this. It ends up being like evil eye. And evil eye is when somebody hates you and wishes you ill, and their gaze is so penetrating that they can penetrate your aura. In this case, we don't have this protection anymore. So this is not a person that hates her, and she may have more things than this, but um, she's the person that is paying attention is too frustrated. So the aura needs to be fortified. It needs to be made stronger, contact with nature, etc. Okay. Anyway, we're not going to go into any more of this. Okay, but I really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, and I did put there the link for when you have black magic, which Lihia needs, and I think almost everybody needs it. And that's here. Okay. This is not. There we go. Okay. There it is. So anytime your body moves that you don't want it to move, a twitch, a nervous twitch, anything, the Parkinson's, restless legs, the arm, that's a spirit. Does that mean it's the end of the world? No, it just means you're a human being. We all have spirits attached. And they can be teeny weeny weeny weeny, or they can be huge. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you.